Hey Helen, I'm heading to the Salon. I desperately need a blowout.
We have lots to talk about. Meet you there in 5.
This is the Blowout Podcast. The salon industry is not in good shape.
Sure isn't.
Welcome to an emergency episode of the Blowout Podcast, this time sponsored by Weller Professionals. Thank you so much. When I say emergency, I mean if you have been living under a rock, there have been some changes that have been coming into play, and April 6th, here we go, Helen.
The red flag.
There's a lot of things going on from April the 6th that people probably, well, hopefully they know about, but then it is quite hard to find when I was doing some research.
Yeah, and also I think it feels like it's a long way off until it actually just comes up and bites you on the arse. And if you're not prepared for it, and this employment rights bill was a bill and now it's an act, so it's been passed, and these changes are taking effect imminently, which is why we thought we had to have this episode go out.
I mean, the obvious one that most people will know about is that minimum wage has increased now to £12.71 per hour.
For what age? That's for the lowest rate, isn't it?
That's just for the living wage.
The living wage, yeah.
Yeah. And I think apprentices are now at £8.
Yeah.
Which is obviously quite a lot when you're investing in someone. But £12.71 doesn't sound like a lot. But that actually, I think it's about £26,000 a year, I was explaining to someone the other day.
See, when you actually work it out like that,
£26,000 a year.
that's quite something.
And that's, so if you're on 40 hours a week, then I thought I'll add in, like, what does it actually cost us? So add in the real employer cost. So just reading this off my phone, employer national insurance. So that's obviously going to increase as well as the £12.71. Yep. Pensions.
Because it's a percentage.
Correct. Pensions, because it's usually about, 3%?
Yeah.
So because you're paying someone more, then the percentage to the pension is going to be more.
Anything percentage is going to be incremental.
Yep. Holiday pay, obviously.
Incremental. See, my brain is just now
frazzled
on the 26,500 a year, because that is actually a lot.
Well, it's a lot of money for not a lot of value at times. If you have to train someone at a standing start to pay them that, it's tough. And then obviously sick pay, which we'll come on to a second. But real cost, if you add in employers' national insurance, pensions, holiday pay, about £33,000 a year. So that's paying out. But then the part that people, I suppose, would ignore, like, let's just say, like, our occupancy rate is about 70%. So 30% of that time that we're paying someone is, you're paying someone to do what? They're not going to be with the client.
They're not producing income.
So then if you said that was, say, another, I don't know, $7,000 a year, you're at £40,000 a year that this person is costing you. A minimum wage person is actually costing you £40,000 a year. It's quite a lot.
It's a lot. And what worries me is this mindset of the employer has to pay, the buck stops with the employer. I mean, think about everything that falls at our feet now. We have to make sure the person can legally work. The onus is on us to control, to check all that. The onus is on us for everything, right? The employer. And I think the whole mindset is that, well, employers can afford it. They've got business, they can afford it. But actually, in our sector, we are all small micro businesses. We're not even classed as SME because a lot of people employ under 5 members of staff. So we are micro businesses. We don't have HR departments. We don't have all the infrastructure, and then you've got companies, like Starbucks not paying any tax. I don't get it. I don't get how the government are penalising the small employer. Britain is a nation of shopkeepers, right? We are a nation of small employers. That's what we've always been. So it's just it's sort of heinous to put all this extra burden of responsibility, let alone the financial element. it's as much for me the responsibility, this onus of the red tape that lands at our feet when we're not just being able to be free to get on with actually working on our businesses, not in our businesses.
I mean, the one for me that shits the life out of me is that it's changing from, I think it was going to be day one rights, wasn't it? From 2 years. So you had 2 years to make up your mind whether that person was, able to stay within the business. Now they're changing it to 6 months. I mean, 6 months is still better than day one, but six months goes pretty quick. And sometimes you don't know the real person until past 6 months.
I think if you have a government which is a nation, which is made up of people that have not worked in the private sector, this is the decision making you come up with. Wouldn't it be a good idea if everyone was protected from day one? Oh yeah, that's a brilliant idea. No thought about who's paying for that or how that's actually going to work logistically. So yes, it got dropped. But even 6 months, as you say, 6 months goes very, very quickly. And I think the whole mindset, I think this encourages the mindset that performance is everybody else's problem rather than the person who's performing.
Yeah, completely right. I mean, 6 months, what we'll need to do is obviously document more and more things about and do probations properly. How many times have you've probably seen in your consultancy where someone's just, I don't know, got rid of someone or they haven't done their HR properly? Everyone's going to have to file things very rigidly. And if you have a conversation with a staff member and they're in that 6 month period, you have to document everything.
I was really, really spooked the other day when I found out that one of our main franchise brands doesn't offer HR support to their franchisees.
What?
Yeah. HR is their responsibility.
Interesting.
How can it be?
That's a reputation to keep, surely, as well.
I don't get it. And I think HR is something, I've taken it out of being in-house and outsourced it. I'm too scared to get it wrong. We thought we were doing well 10 years ago if we bothered to check a reference. Now your references are going to be, but then, the reference can't tell the truth either. Everything's protecting the individual. And you know what? It's not because from the conversations I've had in the work I do for Salon Employers Association, we were on a Zoom the other day with some civil service and they were talking about removing, I think I've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again because it's important, removing post-employment obligations like non-solicitation clauses. And they're saying, surely they hold back the individual. And everything's about the individual and nothing about the company. So I'm like, but if we have taken someone on, given them all those customers, we should have the right to safeguard those customers. And it's that they've never thought like that because they've never worked in the private sector, some of these people that are making these decisions. And that's what worries me the most. You came to my Bowie International Women's Day and we had Jay, who's an employment lawyer, telling us, and it was one of the questions I asked her, wasn't it? Like, what? Tell us what's coming down the lane and coming down the road. And she was just saying, the thing that has been sort of forgotten about in this Employment Rights Act is this right to trade union representation.
Yeah, like a trade union for hair and beauty. Oh my God, that could be fucking chaos.
Well, it could be chaos. And my question to her was, but we don't have a union. It's not like the Mastic Asphalt Association of Concrete Spreaders, Who have we got?
I love how you've used that as an example. The first thing, concrete.
That's right. I think that's from Monty Python for the people that are old enough to remember. We don't have a bloody union.
Yeah, but
And then she was telling us that we could. Did you remember? She said, "Oh, well, you'd come under," and then I think Joanna Hansford said, "Oh, but we'd come under this one."
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit.
Or they can make their own ones up. That's what they're trying to create, aren't they? That it's fair for all workers to create their own unions.
Yeah.
I'm thinking
This is it's like watching a. Did you ever see that film? Trainwreck about the Trainwreck about the Connor knows about the festival. Yeah, and it all went really, really seriously tits up. This is like, it's like watching it in slow motion, isn't it? This coming down the line.
Yeah, they can see it all. I mean, trade unions, not that I think that we're bad employers at all. I just think we've got it tough enough. We really don't need anyone else banging on the door saying, you're doing this wrong and you could be doing this better. I'm like, how much more do we need to do?
But it's not, do you know what? Forget the bigger picture for a minute. The smaller picture is, how are the salon owners who are whacking the clients in and out and just worrying about paying the rent at the moment and not folding their businesses going to cope with this on top of everything else? It's just like one slap after the other, isn't it? You just get over one thing and then another thing comes.
I think we're just going to be too scared to employ people.
That's the thing.
I'm going to be too scared to employ people or really rigorous in the HR process. But again, you can say what you want in an interview and your trade test. But as I say, after 6 months, that's when you find out the real person.
And we wonder why we've got this move to self-employment. Because employing someone is not only extortionately expensive, but it's actually, if you're risk averse, why would you bother?
You just get sued all the time, wouldn't you?
I mean, I was watching this thing on BBC News the other day, and it was doctors talking about, it was like an open forum for doctors, and all of these doctors, not one doctor on this forum, and there was like 300 doctors on it, had ever refused a sick note for mental health.
Wow.
Without even seeing the person. And they were saying they didn't feel that they were able to question if someone is saying they've got a mental health issue. Not one doctor said, hold on a minute. Now, if you said, I think I've got eczema, the doctor said, well, let's have a look. Let's have a check, you know.
True.
So when we come to sick pay, which I know you're going to come on to in a minute,
yeah,
that's the thing, this SSP. I mean, this is going to be, for 1 day sickness, we've got to cover it, right?
That's right. So it used to be 4 days. Now it's 1 day sickness. And the government doesn't cover SSP. We cover it. Correct?
Correct.
So
Shall we just go to the pub?
Fuck this. And I think the SSP amount is increasing. Not only is it going from 4 days to 1 day, so you can pull a 1 day sickie and you get paid for it. I think it's 30 something pounds, or is it £125 a week you can get?
Yeah, it's 125 a week.
Just to not bother turning up to work. And don't get me wrong, I appreciate that that's good for the people that aren't sick all the time and one-offs. I get all of that. But that's a lot of money to pay someone who can try and beat the system.
I mean, in my head, I've never really believed in 1 day sickness because there's very few people.
Bug?
Yeah, you could have, a virus or something. But, there's very few people. Normally it's, I had a dodgy curry, isn't it? I mean, we've heard them all. I mean, been in business as long as I have, or like working a team of individuals, you've heard every excuse in the book. And it's funny how it always falls on a Friday when they've got the Saturday off, or a Monday when they've had the Saturday off and they've got that extended break. In fact, my son said to me the other day, I can't not go into work, because I worked from home that day that I probably shouldn't have worked from home, and now I really am ill and I can't go into, and I can't not go in. It's like, well, lesson learned there then, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, and for salons, you're losing so much more than just that 1 day sickness that you're having to pay out. So it's like it's already costing you so much money to have to reshuffle the clients because that person's not turned up to work. And don't get me wrong, as I say, I know that there's sickness, but like you say, stress, I had to pay someone 3 months worth of stress and they were under 1 years of service.
I'm in exactly the situation now.
And you're like, stress for what? And that the work was contributing to the stress. I'm like, is that my fault that she can't handle the stress, which in my opinion isn't stress? And I'm having to pay out £125 a week for that.
But that's because the doctor in the doctor's surgery isn't questioning that self-diagnosis.
You know, surely I should be able to sit in the doctor's surgery and say, well, this is what she does. Do you think that that's a stressful job?
But they don't question anything.
But they're the ones that are being able to sign it off.
Yeah.
So I think that's a big one.
I think
especially for younger generations.
I would be very nervous to advise any salon to do their own HR anymore. I really would. I think
outsource it all.
I think you need to. I mean, obviously, if you do outsource it, you have to use their contract and you run everything by them, and you probably have to change your contract of employment because they'll want you to use whatever company it is, the one that they stand by. So you'd have to change that. But you know what? I'm not an employment lawyer. I'm pretty good, but I'm not.
Well, we should interview your friend Jay.
Jay, she's amazing.
Should be great.
We should get Jay on here
because it's like the do's and don'ts. What can we do? I feel like we're a bit strapped, really, of what we can actually. We can't fight anything. It's always the in a court of law. It's always to do with the employee, isn't it?
Yeah, and I just think it gets back to that whole thing of what constitutes employment, isn't it? I mean, you had that thing with the Uber drivers recently where they were, saying that they're employed, and all the backlash from that.
Well, yeah, that's probably disguised employment, is it?
Well, of course. So, yeah, if they're not allowed to work for anyone else, So I don't know. It's a minefield. I think if they're not, if employment becomes so unattractive, if it becomes so unattractive to employ people, then we will have. But I mean, I have to say there was an expose done on BBC Radio recently, and a lot of the government have used outsourced. Under sort of what could be classified as disguised employment, people working on projects like HS2 and stuff like that. Just check it out because it's quite an interesting. Louis Theroux, that's your next documentary, mate. But it's quite an interesting thing that they were actually, and maybe that's why they're so woolly on
what the rules are,
and why there isn't regulation, because actually. Someone was saying they were working on HS2, but they were told you can't work on anything else. You've got to turn up tomorrow at Tuesday at 9 o'clock for a meeting. Well, if I'm self-employed, you can't be telling me to do that because, you can't have it both ways. So I think everything needs a bit of tightening up.
Definitely.
Otherwise, it's so much more attractive to say to everyone, just be self-employed. Yep. I don't want this ball ache.
No. I mean... Just going back to the minimum wage side of things, like let's just say it's costing you £40,000 a year for a minimum wage employee. That's how much it costs the company, minimum. Plus you're heating them and feeding them drinks and coffee each year, all that sort of stuff. How much would someone have to actually generate for a salon? So they'd obviously have to break even at 40,000. How much? What is your rule of thumb usually if you're employing someone like, I don't know, on 26 grand a year, but technically, as we know, it's 40. How much would you expect them to bring in sales?
So they can cost me 40%. So if you've only got to work backwards to say, if someone is costing you 40 grand, then they'd have to be bringing in
100 grand.
100 grand. Net income,
Jesus,
to cost you 40%, and they have to cost you 40 Because even if your target payroll is 55%,
Yeah.
you need the non-productive people.
That's right.
You need to pay for them as well.
But it would be, £40,000, but then it will be more, won't it? Because it will be the pensions, the NI, everything additional on top of that.
Yeah, so 100 grand of turnover,
Yeah.
and then you've got to add on all those bits. So you've got to say 120.
Yeah. But even if you just said at a minimum, you've got to double it for the salon to earn any money out of that person.
So this is the thing, it's going to get to the stage where if you're an employee, the luxury of having the services of that person on minimum wage who's not bringing in anything, let alone 40 grand to cover their 40 grand costs, let alone the 120 grand it's really costing you, then surely you've got to do your own services. And if you're doing your own backwash services, then you're less productive. So you're not going to want to do that. I mean, imagine Nando, who's my top takings hairdresser, having to do his own shampoos. I mean, that would be 2 clients a day if he's having to go down, take their bills, wash their hair, gown them up, 2 clients a day that he's losing in time to do that. So 2 clients a day at Nando's prices, that's 500 quid gone. He's not going to want to do that. And that's not how our salon works.
No, but it's just so costly. I don't know how it's not going to go backwards, is it? It's kind of like,
no, because this is the thing. Things become the new normal, don't they? It's like working from home became the new normal. Now companies are backpedaling and trying to get people back into the office because they've realised mental health is affected, and also creativity is affected and productivity is affected. None of those things are good for any company.
But why? And it's like, so it's going to cost me £40,000. The company, it's going to cost £40,000 to employ this new person on minimum wage. And I'm going to have the additional risk that they could go sick as soon as they start on stress.
Mental health issues, which you are going to pick up the tab for.
And then after 6 months, I can't get rid of them anyway because they can easily sue me. And they might not be the right fit and they're not performing properly. And unless you've got strict HR, and it's not just the HR, it's the execution of the HR. So you might have an HR company.
But that's why you need to outsource it to someone who's going to hold your hand through every step of the process.
And file
everything.
This is
how you say, this is what you say, this is who needs to be in the interview, this is what you say in the email. And that helpline, that proper HR helpline is never been more important, I don't think. But hey, we haven't even talked about the worst bit, well, not the worst bit, as if that's not bad enough.
What was that one then?
Well, because the business rates.
Oh, God. You're depressing me even more now.
Yep, we're going to the pub.
We should actually have a gin and tonic in the afternoons because, it is...
I'm going to need one.
It's about 2 o'clock now, isn't it?
Gin and tonic
2:30.
Yeah,
that's fair enough. But business rates are, the bane of my life right now. And I think you said the other day, like, what are we actually paying for? And I know your business rates are huge, but you're absolutely right. What are we paying for? I'm sure that the council would come up with something, but to take some bins out?
But we've got to remember, the local authorities, most of them are bankrupt. On paper, they're bankrupt. They're literally bankrupt. And that's why, all the speed bumps and the traffic wall cameras and everything else, it's all to make money. They can say it's, to be safe. And I'm sure, obviously, it's much safer to drive at 20 miles an hour than it is at 30. But, most of it is because the local authorities are bankrupt. So the businesses, again, but you're fishing out of the same pond, these SMEs, and then you've got companies like Starbucks who are not contributing anything. I've really got it in for Starbucks.
Yeah, poor Starbucks. I
Take
like
me
a
to
good Starbucks.
Well, don't like a good Starbucks. Like a good Starbucks when they start paying their bloody tax. They pay nothing.
Yeah, it's bad.
Nothing. They make so much money out of this country. And if I'm wrong, Mr. Starbucks, come on the podcast and tell me I'm wrong.
Amazon don't pay tax.
No, all these massive companies.
And they're the ones that are taking the retail from us. And they don't pay tax. We're screwed.
Jeff, is it
Come
Jeff?
on, Jeff.
Come on, Jeff. Put Lauren down. Get your ass to Windsor. Come and sit between these two feisty My mother said, oh, she's quite feisty, Hayley, isn't she?
I'm like the nicest person ever. That's so funny.
I think she means
Perception.
she's just as feisty as you.
Yeah. Well, I wonder. Yeah. It's just that's why we spend too much time together. I don't know, Helen. It's really sad, and as I say, and I want to be able to combat it. Like, okay, we can do this, but there's nothing we can do about it. So all we have to do is protect ourselves.
There's nothing we can do when governments make decisions that we are at the receiving end of. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not the decision. It's if you want growth, you have to encourage entrepreneurialism, not penalise it.
Hopefully in the next couple of years, because you can see where this is going to go, it's going to go that people are too scared to employ anyone. So therefore, if you have an employed job, it's like, wow, you must be amazing. Someone has invested and trusted that you won't screw them over, like type of thing. I wonder if it's hopefully going to go that way, and that self-employment will be a thing of the past where that's the cool thing, that it might actually be an amazing thing to be employed.
But look at the NEETs, right? There's 25% of 16 to 25-year-olds on NEETs, which is not in education, employment or training.
Sorry, say that percentage again.
25% of 16 to 25-year-olds are not in NEETs. They're not in education, employment or training.
Oh my God, that's huge.
So if you're one of these NEETs and you're not in education, employment or training, then, you know, the career opportunities for you are also shrinking, because with the advent of AI, you know, a lot of graduate jobs, for instance, in the financial services sector, are being, you know, held back by AI. People are just going, well, I don't need graduates. I can have, if it's number crunching some spreadsheets, AI can do that bit for me. I have seen in my time lots of people and helped a lot of people through mental health problems. I feel though it needs proper help. If someone has mental health issues, they need proper support and proper help and proper diagnosis. That's my worry is the diagnosis piece. You know, how well are they being diagnosed? Is it accurate? And if it isn't accurate, then you know, what support is there for them out there?
But also, like you say, going back to the doctor thing, I'm signed off with stress. Okay, but that's not helping you, because actually a workplace can help you with stress. You know, if you're going through a stressful time, your workmates are really important. Don't sit at home on your own.
So important. I mean, you know, I think being in a workplace, being in a team environment, going out for drinks after work, socialising occasionally, it's all really good for you. I think being around people is good for you. You know, my mother has dementia, and she's so much better when she's been to her club where all the old ladies go, she calls it. But, you know, she's just like a different person because she's been with people. And I can spot the difference in her a mile off. And I think, getting back to what have always said is, you know, the hair salon, the beauty salon is a hub for wellness. It's a hub for our clients' wellness, not just our team. It's our clients. It's a place to feel good. And we need to, as employers, feel good too. And I think that's the bit that's missing for me at the moment.
Yeah, you're so right, actually. We're so concerned about everyone else and trying to make sure that the companies and the businesses survive and the salons we're just surviving. We're not trying to thrive or anything like that. But it's actually my mental health or your mental health. It is hard because you're constantly trying to.
That's how our friendship blossomed because we were talking about business and it was a really, you know, inspirational and safe space to talk. And that's what this is, you know, I remember when we were starting this podcast and saying, you know, well, it's quite a niche audience. You are quite a niche audience. But it's salon owners, it's niche. But we don't want to make it for hairdressers. If our hairdressers and our team and our therapists listen to it, our juniors, our receptionists. That's great. But it's not for them. It's for you and me and the other salon owners out there that need somewhere they can just... Marguerite, our lovely friend on Salon Employers Association WhatsApp chat, I'll mop my floor and listen to you two and know that I'm not alone, and it's really important.
And I suppose lots of my team have listened to this or watched this, and I got some backlash for it, and had to put out a voice note to all of my team saying, hi guys, I know that some of you have listened to this podcast, but it's not for you. I'm not slagging you off. I might have slagged off one particular person that I might be referring to. It doesn't mean I'm talking about all of you. I love my team. I love the people that are there. And I think that's the hard part, is there's no outlet for me to vent and go, look, this is really hard. How are you combating that? I get to listen to everybody else's problems, but why can't I be able to talk about it? And I think, going back to the HR, and we need to be able to have a club, don't we?
We do.
How are we going to resolve things?
Because we are a unique sector. We're unique in that most business owners in the sector are not fiscally up there. We're not. I'm not. So we're not entrepreneurial in that sense. We're entrepreneurial in the creative sense. And yeah, we need support. We need a place to go. But I'm worried about the business rates. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I just think a lot of businesses, this is just, again, every action has the consequence. So you put the business rates up. Who's paying for it? What is not anyone in Whitehall scratching their heads and going, but if we do that, we'll penalise growth. Everything they're doing to me is penalising growth. And I don't think the lot before were any better. So let's have it right. It's not that me, dissing the Labour Party. I just think you cannot have a buoyant economic future if you're penalising growth. And if you penalise entrepreneurialism, you penalise growth.
Yeah, very well put. I thought I'll just look at what.
Do you have to?
No, I don't have to.
No, go on.
But no, I was
come
gonna
on.
say,
We got to have it right. Let's have all the shit.
What should a salon owner be doing right now to combat everything that's going on from April 6th? Structure probations properly. It can't just be, oh, yep, you can carry on. You have to document everything. Write
everything down. You'll think you'll remember, but you won't.
How do you do your probations at the moment?
Well, our probation period is on. We're using Peninsula's contracts and Peninsula's, and Sam does all our HR, and our guidance is fully with them. And the beauty of outsourcing it is if there is a change to the contract, it all gets issued automatically, reissued via the app, and they sign to say they've seen the changes. So you can never get caught out. I think the thing with HR is like printing a price list. The minute you get it back from the printers, it's out of date. Honestly.
Document everything. So you've got to have yes, you might have some sort of outsourcing company, but you should document and file your own files as well, shouldn't you, really?
You should. And, the thing is, what salon owners are going to say, because we know what they're going to say, I haven't got time.
I ain't got the time.
But the thing is, you cannot be a salon owner in this economic climate with all of this legislation coming your way and all of this responsibility without taking time to work on your business, not just working in it. And I know we keep saying that, but they have to, any salon owner, I'd say, if you haven't got an in-house HR department, which most of them won't have, then you're going to have to take some time out. Because don't do it on your day off. Don't do it on a Sunday. That's how you burn out. You've got to just make the time to do it. Start at 11, come in at 9, but take your first client at 11 to give you a couple of hours to get on top of it.
And it's like you say, it's impossible to try and keep on top of it with all these the employment laws changing all the time.
Well, the onus is on us. It's not on, you can't say I didn't know.
No, you can't. Get contracts clear and up to date. Well, I mean, so many things I want to put into the contracts as well. And that's one thing I want to do is try and harmonise all of the contracts this year. Just going, right, okay, what do I want from a contract? Like, how can I protect myself a little bit more?
But you know what? Every sort of, there's a saying, I can't think of it now, but there's an opportunity here to have a reset. There's an opportunity with this Employment Rights Act coming in to reset your HR and to reissue the contracts. And it's almost a good excuse to tidy everything up and look at it with fresh eyes and just get everything compliant. Because the compliance issue is the problem. It's making sure you're compliant.
Because I think, some people might have been employed for like 5 years, and I'm thinking those contracts from 5 years ago, they're not relevant. Or, I've had bad things happen. I don't want that to happen again. I'm going to put that into the contract. Things like commission. When's commission payable? When's it not payable? All this sort of stuff. Like, if you've been a complete dickhead, I don't want to pay you commission. But I know that's not legal.
Can we put that in? Clause 3A. Was a dickhead. If you're a dickhead.
No commission paid if you're a dickhead.
That's it. Love it.
Plan rotas more tightly. Because, again, not going to be able to have this bloody 0 hours contract. Which,
no.
It's already hard enough to plan with the rotas. We'll end up saying to people, okay, we'll give you 5 hours a week, and if you do 40, good for you.
Well, this is why people are cutting apprenticeship hours, just to keep them under that number of hours, that minimum wage.
Yeah. Maybe that is the solution, which is awful, isn't it, to think? Our apprentices cost thousands. I don't want to cut their hours because it's cutting their education, but we technically can't really afford apprentices right now.
A lot of people are telling me they're cutting hours.
I suppose it's a good way to have a happy medium, isn't it? Because they're all probably living at home too. Mm-hmm. I've heard that as well. I don't want to promote that, but is that the thing to do? You can't offer a 40-hour week to an apprentice.
Too expensive.
It is. Especially the ones that are over 21. They're on minimum
that's
wage.
The thing. And with us, we've never age capped our apprenticeships. And I think of all the people that have done apprenticeships with us and gone on to be very successful hairdressers, earning a lot of money, who, if that was now, we'd be seriously thinking, you're 27, I can't afford you.
I wouldn't mind doing the apprenticeships if it was 40 hours a week and you knew it was for 3 years, but you knew that they had to stay with you for a minimum of 5 years afterwards or something like that.
Get back to the transfer fee.
Yes. I love this idea. There's something in that transfer
We've got to
fee.
make that happen.
Monitor absence properly. Again, like, you can have... Sickness is such a weird thing, as in people are scared to talk about sickness. But if you've got an underlying illness and you're not capable of coming to work and do your job, you can do something about it.
Well, we have to have a back-to-work interview now. So when they come back from sickness, do you do that? You have a back-to-work interview, yeah. What happened? Why were you ill? Soon we won't be able to do that, I reckon.
Because it'd be confidential and none of your business why I was sick. That's what's going to happen.
But you've still got to pay for it.
Yeah. I'm not going to tell you, but you still got to pay for it. This just makes no sense. If you explain this to someone for a business idea, they'd be like, no.
This is what I always think. If an alien landed and you told them that, these employment rights points that are coming into force have been written by someone who's never been in business and has no idea how that actually would play out in the real world, they'd think it was hilarious.
Maybe I should ask ChatGPT, if you were the government, what would you do?
Yes, don't ask.
And obviously understanding the real staff costs. How much is this person costing you and what are they bringing in? Because if you're paying out £40,000 a year or, and they're only bringing in 40, what's the point in having this person?
Have you ever watched those videos of we're picking on Amazon today, but Amazon, where the Amazon people that pick all the stuff, they go around on these trolley things, go up and down the aisles, and they've got to pick all the stuff and put them in the thing for it to arrive on your doorstep.
Yeah.
And they have like a time limit on how many things they're supposed to put on the forklift. It's like a forklift truck thing. And I thought I was watching it and speeded up. The productivity rates that they have to hit are massive.
This is a person.
A person has to pick that, put it in the basket, go up the next aisle, blah, 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 and they are so fast. It's almost like watching something speeded up. And imagine if we in our sector applied that to productivity and said, your cost is this, so this is how productive you have to be, and we stuck to it rigidly.
I'd love that. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen because what we do is so creative and la, la, la. But, any other business would actually look at productivity ratio to wages, earnings to productivity. That's how businesses work.
I mean, the wages to sales ratio is horrendous. Like my accountant keeps going, Hayley, you're paying too much wages. This is ridiculous. So you're paying way too much in wages. I was like, there's nothing I can do about that right now.
No.
Apart from putting the prices up, which I don't think I can do any further right now. I probably can, but...
But if those same customers, I worked out you need 3 times the number of customers you ever used to need 10 years ago just to stand still because of the length of visit frequency. 19 weeks now between visits, apparently. So, if that used to be 8 weeks between, you can work it out. You need 3 times the amount to stand still, just to stand still.
And people want to take their time now as well. Like not in a traditional salon. As I say, I've got a few different salons I can compare against, and the best, most efficient one is the one that's been going for 20 years because it's ingrained in them to be quick and fast, and that's the most profitable one. Yet they're the cheapest prices. I'm like, how's this happening? It's crazy.
Gosh, there's lots to think about.
I know, but I think HR is a scary subject. Obviously we did this as an emergency because you need to look at the government website about exactly what is changing or reach out to a HR advisor.
You really do. And you need to definitely get a handle on your business rates and what your rateable value is and your assessment and whether you've got any relief.
Yeah. Oh, Helen. Well, hopefully this has helped people just to tell them what is actually happening. Please let us know what your thoughts are. Whether you're a bit worried about this possible union that someone could make up and minimum wage.
Maybe we should start a union. Maybe that's the thing we should do. And then at least we can make
We're in control of it.
We could make it a positive, a force for good.
Ooh. Could just call it the blowout union. I don't know.
Fueled by gin.
Yeah. Oh, that's a great strapline.
I love it. And thank you to our sponsors, Weller Professionals. And let us know what you're doing and how you're navigating these uncertain, choppy waters that we've got coming.